Welcome back, everybody. My name is Uhfgood. I don't know why I take off my glasses. Uh, okay, so today, very special set of videos for today. Not only because it's the 4th of July celebrating American independence from England, but also because since I finished that rollerball tutorial, I get to work on my own stuff in trying to figure out how to make a basic demo for my game. This is an actual step towards my game, like what I did with Godot a couple months back or a few weeks. I don't know. I don't remember how long ago. And so I don't know about exporting for Unity, exporting from Blender to Unity. So we're actually going to find that out right now, and let's see if we can get a working demo here by the time I'm done with today's videos. So let's get started. Okay, so the first thing I want to do, I've actually how's that? Am I cut off? I'm cut off here, and then you can see my hat and. Okay. So I've already. There we go. How to import Blender models into Unity. Now I don't know how old this is. Um, might be fairly old. Not really sure. But maybe if we go through this, maybe we'll find out that. Or maybe I should go through the manual. I'm not sure. I know this is an older version of Blender that it's showing here. So importing Blend versus. Okay, so let's just kind of go through this and let's start that, which I always forget, of course. It's already been like a couple of minutes right now. Okay, so I'm gonna try for 8 minutes on the timer here, and then we'll see about quitting early. And looks like you're seeing a little bit of the corner there. My green screen. The web around is, even though this is the bigger one, it's not that big. Or at least it has maybe something to do with where my camera is, or how my chair is, or whatever. Anyways. No, I don't want to. No, I don't want to sign up for anything else right now. Free courses. Unity game development. Buy now. 0. Overview. Okay, so how to import Blender models into Unity, your one-stop guide. In an ideal world, exporting models from Blender into Unity for your 3D virtual reality game should be a seamless, simple process. To be more precise, it shouldn't require any thought whatsoever. Any thought whatsoever. At first, it feels like that is the case. You drag and drop a blend file into Unity and the model shows up, but as people quickly realize when they go through the process, the devil's in the details. This guide was created to take all the pain from the process of importing simple Blender models into Unity, so at least you know it works for sure and why that is. And I'm gonna hope that things haven't changed that much for importing, because it should be fairly established, except for a couple of keys being off, or shortcuts or whatever. Why not now? Coordinate differences. Whoop! I didn't mean to do that. Dang. The first thing to keep in mind that there are too many differences between the coordinate system of Unity and Blender. Blender uses right-hand coordinate system, whereas Unity uses left-hand coordinate system. See illustration below. In Blender, the z-axis points upwards, whilst in Unity, the y-axis points upwards. And see, that's always the weird thing to me, because I was always told that z was the depth. The x and y was, vertical, horizontal, whatever. But I guess it just depends on which coordinate system you are using. Blender Z-axis. Okay, so why is it showing? Huh. Okay. Blender model settings. Let's say you create a nice looking low poly tree in Blender. Like, I might have to just forget this one because this one's gonna keep on showing that thing. Okay, so this is I wonder what version of Blender this is. 2.78. So it's not too long, but it's a a few years now, a couple years or so now. Okay. Basic checklist before attempting any import. Delete the default Blender camera and lamp. We're not using Blender to create a rendered scene. We just care about the model. So unless you're indeed doing other things with your Blender file, you can remove these elements. Make sure to name your model as well. So the first thing is that I should be able to find a way of exporting stuff out of the model without exporting, say, without exporting the lamp, the light, or the camera. So I'm gonna I'm not gonna remove them or delete them necessarily. Also partly because if I switch back to Armory, it'll be needing to use the cameras and stuff. So I'm gonna figure out a way of exporting without dang. Apply transforms. On the transforms panel, the values for rotation should show 0. For scale, 1 on all axes. Press Ctrl A, apply rotation scale. Why is this? In Unity, you want to be able to apply transformations to your models. If they already come with weird numbers in there, this will be confusing. Okay, so right. Rotation and scale. Probably location too, for that matter. Set the origin to a meaningful position. This might not apply in all cases. For instance, if in Unity you'll have the floor on y equals 0, as in y is in vertical coordinate, and your Blender model, in this case a tree, will go on the ground level as well. It's much easier if you set the origin in Blender to the base of your model. To change the origin in Blender, left click where you want to place the 3D cursor there, and then click set origin to 3D cursor. Okay. Why is this? If you set the origin to, say, in the middle of the model, then you import it to Unity and drag them to your terrain and floor, the middle of the model will be on y equals 0, so you might have to drag your model up each time. Keep an eye at the location transform in Blender. When you place your model in Unity, you'll most likely move it around, so you don't have to set the location transform in Blender to 0, as it won't do much. However, if you have a really high number in there, the model will show far away in Unity as well, so keep an eye on there, and setting it to 0 won't hurt. Making normals point outwards. Sometimes when importing a model in Unity, it appears as some faces are invisible. This is caused by the normals of those faces pointing inwards. If you're experiencing this issue, try the following. What is a normal in a mesh? Each face is a single vector which is perpendicular to the face. This vector is called a normal, and it points directly to one side of the face. Normals are used for rendering. In your model, all normals should always point outwards. To do that, go to recalculate outside. I can actually do that. And actually the menu is still the same, so mesh normals recalculate outside. What if I need to show both sides of a plane, like a wall that separates two rooms, for instance? In those cases, you should use a cube mesh shape, for instance, or duplicate the face so you can extrude the face and move it slightly to the other side. You should never have a single face that will be looked at from both sides. Like a wall that separates two rooms, for instance. You should use a cube mesh. Yeah. What about backface culling? Unity only supports one-side rendering per frame, so disabling backface culling in Blender won't make a difference. Backface culling is when you explicitly tell your program that only one side of the face should be rendered. Okay. Importing blend files versus importing FBX files. You have two main options to import a Blender file into Unity. There's no correct answer here, as different workflows and cases might find one approach better than the other one. Importing the blend file directly into Unity, exporting the FBX file from Blender, and then importing this file into Unity. When you import a blend file into Unity, what really happens behind the scenes is that Unity will call Blender's export scripts to generate an FBX file and then import this file into Unity. At first, this sounds like both plans should be 100% equivalent. However, that's not the case. Simply drag and drop the blend file into a location inside your assets folder in your Unity project, and you can place the file there by many different ways. Put it there using the File Explorer. Drag and drop it into your project tab. Save your Blender project in there. After that, simply drag and drop the asset into your scene. The file to grab is the light blue box. If you click on the imported mesh, notice that the inspector panel shows a scale factor of 1 and a file scale of 1. Also notice the up direction was kept. In Blender, the up direction is Z, and in Unity it's Y, yet Unity is smart enough to get that right. Also, if you click on your newly created object and take a look at the transform panel, you will see that the scale is 1 and the rotation of almost negative 90 applied on X. The X-axis will be reversed from what you had in Blender. Whatever value of X was positive in Blender would be negative in Y. Usually this doesn't matter as the model looks exactly the same. Once the model is in Unity, you can move and rotate it at a glance. If you want the X coordinate to match, in Unity you have to apply rotation 180 degrees on Y. In this case, the Z-axis still won't not match given the different coordinate systems used in each program. The only way for all axes to match would be to go to mirror the model, for which you can easily give it a scale of -1 in either the X or Z in Unity. Importing FBX file. To export FBX, go to File, Export FBX. If your Blender scene has multiple models and you only want to export one, make sure it's selected on the scene. And then on the FBX Export dialog box, check the option Selected Objects so that only what's selected in the scene gets exported. If you want to export your entire Blender scene, then don't check Selected Objects. Make sure the scale is set to 1 in this dialog as well, and click on the button to the right of the scale field, the button that doesn't look like a button, so it turns like gray as shown in the screenshot below. Of course, it'll be a little bit different because we're using a newer version. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and cut the video here, and I know all we just did was read, but this is good background information. And in the next video, I'm probably going to go ahead and look into the manual as well and see if the Blender website has anything about exporting models for stuff like Unity and stuff. So thanks for watching. I will see you in the next video.